Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Sex and the City, the first movie. Now, I already recapped this one in detail, so go check that out. This time, Michael Patrick King is here to give us all his thoughts, I should say. I'm trying to be nice here. No, not really. He's so pompous and full of himself. I've had so much fun breaking down his reactions to how wonderful he is. Yes, he is complimenting himself throughout. And so I have a lot to say about that. This is the fifth part. So if you didn't catch the others, go back and watch those. This part, we are picking up with Carrie giving her assistant that god-awful bag, which we all had a reaction to. I hate that Louis Vuitton bag so much. Louise was such a sweet girl. She deserves so much. And if Carrie was going to give her a bag, why did she pick the ugliest one that nothing would go with? It just doesn't make any sense. But let's hear Michael Patrick, talk about that bag and so much else. But first, if you're enjoying this, do check out Patreon. We have a lot going on over there. I do deep dives of all the original series episodes. Really having a lot of fun with that, talking about behind the scenes stuff where I can find it, original casting stuff. I'm just anything I can find. I'm really enjoying breaking them down. Check that out. If you're a fan of Always Sunny, I'm breaking it down over there as well. And the top tier gets to pick what we listen to. So if that's something you're interested in, check out Patreon. Let's get into this episode.
Pat Field moved Carrie all into dark clothes. Through the whole dark, she's like a tree and not in bloom. This, of course, come on.
That is not what I think it is.
The most amazing moment. You know how Carrie saw what Louise needed? Big saw what Carrie needed was the closet. People are always seeing each other differently than we see ourselves. I love Jennifer in this moment. That bag we waited for, that wasn't even available until the day before we shot this scene. It came on a plane, of course. It's Louis Vuitton. It's this brand that's not even out in stores yet, but now it's in the movie, and by the time it's in the movie, it'll be out in the stores.
Listen, to quote Countess Luann from Real Housewives of New York, even Louis Vuitton makes mistakes. I hate this bag so much. It doesn't go with anything. I don't understand it. And then for pompous ass to talk about it flying on a plane to get there, ugh.
Pat was adamant that it be a bag that wasn't available till this day, May 30th, when the movie was released. This is the other side of New York that people rarely see, the lonely, alone side. New Year's Eve alone. We always decided in my mind, I decided in my mind that New Year's Eve is probably the worst day to be single. Because at midnight, you are supposed to have that someone special to kiss. And it's kind of shaming if you don't, I always thought. A lot of emotions are up in the air on a holiday. And on this holiday, letting things go, it's a whole other day.
I think it's in the kitchen.
Oh, you gotta have the new Batman, huh? You got plans with the girls?
You know, David Eigenberg as an actor is just so simple and...
So is he being the asshole here, or am I? Because I always thought it was Egenberg. That's what I thought I heard it said before. I'm not the best at remembering how to pronounce names, but I really thought it was Egenberg.
Profound and amazing, I think.
Come out and eat with us.
I know people love Steve. They used to say to me year after year in the series, don't do anything bad to Steve.
Hashtag justice for Steve. You should have taken that advice, dickhead, and then we wouldn't be where we're at with Just Like That. P.S. I still have Injustice for Steve. Not Injustice. Justice for Steve stuff. Check out my merch.
So I had Steve do something bad. Just for fun and drama.
Miranda, I never meant to hurt you.
Of course, the Miranda theme is forgiveness. The movie's really about love and forgiveness and all the different aspects for women, 4 different types of love, plus the love they have for each other. And then how do you forgive people?
Yeah.
Originally, the sequence was not set on New Year's Eve. Originally, it was set on Christmas Eve. And Carrie was watching Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas from Meet Me in St. Louis and crying. And then when I saw the amount of pain that was already in the movie with the jilt on the street, I thought I needed to shift it.
Where was the thinking like that and in just like that? Because all you loaded on us was a big pile of shit and one pain after another. So, yeah, where was that awareness there, dickhead?
So I shifted the entire thing to New Year's Eve because I didn't want Carrie to be feeling so sorry for herself that she cries. Instead, I found a way to make it be that she steps out of her pain and journeys to Miranda's and helps her. You know, just the very thin line that Carrie's still writing. She writes her books, and yet she has nothing to say about love. This was a hard scene to cut because what I like about this scene is what it sets up, which is that Carrie has an agenda to not celebrate New Year's Eve, but to be in her bed asleep at 9:30. And that makes it even more heroic to me when she runs downtown to Miranda's.
So yeah, once an episode, he has to spend time telling us what a hero either Carrie or Sarah Jessica Parker are and how brave they are. And also he likes to say that he writes Carrie as himself. So, you know, do the math there.
So aside from the fact that it's really nice to show two single people and their old friendship, and Willie's so charming in the scene, and there's even a good joke coming up. One of the rare treats, I think, with the movie is that there's moments of silence. That clock was in Carrie's apartment. Now here's the thing. That's a clock from, I don't know when it's from, but we rented that clock, the entire series, from a guy who was a collector. And when he knew we were making this series again, we called him because Sarah Jessica wanted everything from the apartment to be back in the apartment. And he decided this was his payday, and he asked for a fortune for that clock. And then we went on eBay and found the same clock for like $40. And he didn't get his payday.
Something about this bothers me coming on the heels of talking about flying in a bag and then not wanting to pay a guy too much for his clock. I don't know.
New Year's Eve in New York City is the most impossible day of all to ever move around. You can never get a cab. Uptown, downtown, you know, you're screwed. If you're not walking, you're in trouble. And just the idea that Carrie not only risks going into the subway on New Year's Eve, which we've rarely seen Carrie go in and out of the subway. I think she only went in the subway once on the series, going to Wall Street. But here she is.
Okay, he's seriously making me nauseous. So now they play that beautiful, I actually love that rendition of Auld Lang Syne, but unfortunately I cannot play that here because that part is copywritten. So we're going to be skipping the next 3 minutes where he talks about Carrie going over to Miranda's and celebrating with her so she's not alone because remember, Steve has Brady. We see a quick flash of Charlotte being happy and pregnant with Harry, and not with Harry, but along with Harry and Lily before I hated Lily. And yeah, so we're going to skip ahead. Okay, so the holidays have passed and they go to that fashion show, and that's where we pick up.
Carrie's outfit. In my original conception of this scene, Carrie was very subdued and laid back, and this was sort of her re-entry into society. And I didn't see her dressed in feathers from Dolce & Gabbana, wrapped in net. And Pat Field and Molly, our costume designers, I went to them and they said, this is what Carrie's wearing. And I said, no. She's more subdued, and after what just happened. And Molly, who's Southern, said to me, oh, please, it's been months. We want to see feathers.
Oh, you guys, when I hear this, all I can think of is Meredith Marks from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City in her stupid feather suit. But seriously, Molly is I'm going to go ahead and say it, she's the asshole that gave us the non-fashions from And Just Like That.
And I looked at her and I said, what? She said, it's been months. We want to see feathers. And I said, absolutely not. And I walked out the door and I thought, I better listen to that. It has been months, story-wise, and they do want to see feathers. And I'm so happy I changed it because there's enough sadness. And now you just get to look at her in feathers.
He's even making feathers creepy, you guys.
And I love Charlotte's outfit here because Charlotte really, to me, is what's so great about Kristen's take and Pat's take on Charlotte pregnant is she's like this chic pregnant mom. I mean, that's a Chanel pin. She's not even wearing maternity clothes. She's wearing big Chanel clothes.
Okay, here comes another background song, so I'm going to be skipping ahead, but I just want to point out he's praising Charlotte for not wearing maternity clothes, but just bigger Chanel clothes. And then think about what they did to Samantha here. Remember, she comes back for Charlotte's baby shower, and they keep talking about her pooch, and they put her in pants that were too small, and so gross.
Over the years, Miranda and Carrie have had significant fights. Big ones, where they tell each other the hard truths about each other. They're the most explosive of the friends. I put this moment in here because I wanted, like in life, uncomfortable life to come in and make a moment even worse.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
This fight, to me, is another one of those significant battering each other because of events in their lives. And their performances are amazing. And they were amazing every take.
And for 5 months, you kept a secret like that?
I tried to tell you once, but then...
They really emotionally are so into... They did this a million ways, and it was always brilliant.
I know. I was waiting for the right time.
There is no right time to tell me that you ruined my marriage.
It just happened. I wasn't...
Yeah, I want you to feel for both of them. I want you to feel for Miranda.
You know what I think hurts the most?
Here's the thing about Carrie being trapped in everybody else's idea of what love is.
And I have never,
Can't suffocate.
ever kept a secret.
I also wanted it to be a little bit funny that she can't get out of there.
Dickhead's talking about that restaurant that Carrie and Miranda went to with all the balloons. Remember, all over. They were each other's date for Valentine's.
How does it
One
feel?
of the things that works occasionally is when the audience hears something from one of the characters that they actually feel. And I know a lot of women are going to feel that it was a mistake she left Steve. And for Carrie to say it to her is great. Okay, the sushi scene. Come on, only Kim Cattrall. First of all, look at her. Amazing. And I would like you to know that I personally laid all the orchids on her private parts.
Okay, we're what, now on the 5th episode? This is the first time we've heard him talk about how amazing Kim Cattrall is. But look what he's talking about, in what regard. And then to say that, it just feels, ugh. Not about her, but about what he's talking about. Ugh.
I can attest to that. Just the idea of that Samantha has gone to such extent to keep her love life exotic like she thought it was. And the frustration that the best laid plans, emphasis on laid, don't pan out. All that sushi laid on her personally.
Everything he does is creepy. I sure would like to have her speak up about how that experience went for her and if she was completely okay with everything. Ugh.
This whole sequence was designed for this next image. Just the sushi hitting the floor. I had to draw all the pictures out to Kim. She was like, so what? I said, so you only see the shoes. And then I go in and I see Pat Field has her in rhinestone fish skeleton shoes. For the sushi scene, of course. I was directing the porn aspect from the house where Kim is. And there was an AD yelling it out of a walkie-talkie. So I'd hear, go down on her again. Then I'd wait and hear, go down on her again. Go down again. Go down again. It was hilarious.
Just can't not be creepy.
I'm home.
Okay, so now Samantha has gone from as far from Samantha as she ever wanted to go. She's the housewife. That's not good. And Jason, of course, Smith as the innocent husband.
Why are you so upset?
The sushi scene is really here to show how much she's drifted from the idea of Samantha. She's as far from Samantha as she is from New York right now.
You think it's funny that I slaved all day in this kitchen to make a lovely meal for you?
You have no idea how hard it is to clean up sushi after every take. Do not try this at home. Every take, sushi everywhere. So we would get up to a point and I'd say, don't throw it. And then because we would have to start over again. Don't throw it, don't throw it, don't throw it. Good shot. There's nothing quite like sashimi hitting a refrigerator for a comedy punch. Then, of course, the heartbreak of Smith. I had all the good intentions and got sushi thrown at me.
It's Carrie. Leave me a message.
Carrie, it's
So here's the thing with this scene. Miranda is doing to Carrie what Steve did to Miranda. He's basically badgering her. It's the same speech she gives to Carrie. Steve calls me emails, flowers, etc. And the idea being that the tables can turn on any of us at any point. I wanted to create a scene where they weren't in any place comfortable. Like Carrie doesn't invite her in because they're not really healed. But in New York, sometimes there is no intimate place, so I put it in a cab. There is no in-between place. And the fact that she's just sitting there waiting, Carrie has to go in. This guy, the cab driver, was handpicked because he's in the second episode of the series. In the cab, where they're doing the up-the-butt scene, where he's saying, no smoking in cab, and Carrie says, sir, we're talking up the butt, a cigarette is in order. It was my favorite cameo of all time, and I was like, let's get him back. So here he is as a silent witness to their growth. Love that she reverses her ability to say anything, and then Cynthia pulls it out of her. Miranda pulls it out of her.
Consider forgiving Steve for something he did 6 months ago.
It's not the same thing.
It's forgiveness.
Yep. Sophisticated man knows forgiveness is forgiveness.
I don't know that I can trust that it won't happen again.
Steve, you're very quiet today.
This is Joanna Gleason playing the therapist, and she's an amazing Broadway actress and film actress, and she did me a favor because I needed someone with her gravitas to play this very important little part. This scene is important to me.
The way you treated me
Because he wrote it.
and cut me out of your life.
Because it's the only time a man like Steve stands up for himself.
He sure as shit didn't. And it just like that, the writers wouldn't let him.
It was really important that we didn't just say, she learned a lesson from Carrie and then she forgave Steve. I wanted Steve to speak up for himself and speak up for all the wronged partners.
And she doesn't know for sure.
It would have been wrong to do this without showing the fact that they were working at this relationship. It's a complex issue.
All you can know is that you want to move forward and risk that the love you have for each other won't allow that to happen.
You know, a lot of the specifics comes out of reality of couples I know or people I've heard this of, and the idea that you reach a point in your life where you decide if you're going to go forward from a therapist, and then you don't talk about it for the rest of your life. You let it go. Was an interesting thought to me.
Being together again is something that we really
So I
want.
put it in the movie.
And then completely abandoned and ignored it, and then just like that.
Also, it's spring now. You start to see we're coming out of the dark. There's literally a bloom. The Forsythia in Central Park is always really a great, exciting moment for me. That's called the Widow's Pavilion, which I think is interesting, because here you got these two widows, you know, symbolic widows, both of relationships that have died, and they're sitting in the Widow's Pavilion in Central Park. And plus you get the great shot of New York in the background.
Miranda, you're a lawyer. You know you can argue both sides of any case. But why we feel what we feel isn't logical. It's emotional. So I'm sorry, Harvard, but I'm afraid you're going to have to...
The logical, emotional through line is really one of the amazing reasons that Carrie and Big keep going back and forth to each other, because it is sort of always emotional with her.
And all that brilliant logic is going to go right out the window with the past.
Ugh. And I thought picking a spot to meet was going to be the challenge.
Where is it?
On the Brooklyn Bridge. Halfway between our two places.
Pat Field's use of color in the movie is kind of stunning and amazing. Even when the girls are in dark moments, there's always some hint underneath that there's still a life there, a color. This is the Louise designed Carrie Bradshaw. You can see the paint swatches on the wall that will become in the next scene.
And you're out of there.
As you can see, Louise and her have created a sort of
The other news.
easygoing friendship now.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. We don't have that much more to go. This is where Louise gets engaged. And yeah, we probably, I think, have like one more episode left. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. And thank you all so much for watching. I feel like I didn't interject as much this time. I'm sorry about that. It's just, I don't know. He makes my eyes go cross sometimes. Like, it's like one of those things where I can't believe what I'm hearing, but also what else would I expect? You know what I mean? He's just so full of himself. Oh, to live in that world. Sounds like so much fun to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate everything. I hope you're enjoying the series, and I look forward to wrapping this one up. I wish they had done a commentary for the second movie. They didn't, unfortunately, but I would love to hear him justify that train wreck with us. But anyway. So yeah, if you're interested in Justice for Steve stuff, still got that in the merch store. Check that out. If you're interested in Patreon, check that out. We have plans as low as $5 a month, where you get access to all the bonus episodes where I talk about, well, I guess all the episodes of Sex and the City. I'm working my way through the series, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it, trying to look for any behind-the-scenes information I can pull along the way. Thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate it. Leave me comments below. That really helps the channel, the algorithm, whatever it is, it helps. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.